of the most quoted poems is titled Outwitted. Outwitted. It's by Edwin Markham, and it's only 4 lines long. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in. Where there's an unnecessary boundary, a line of separation that serves no godly purpose, someone has to redraw the boundary so that we can stop labeling each other as heretics long enough to actually see and hear one another. Real and lasting change comes when a person decides that someone that they have no regard for could actually be worth the time to talk to. But it's so much work, we almost never get to it. Today, that person is the woman in this gospel passage. She comes from about as far outside Jesus' world as it is possible. Matthew is saying in his description, look, this is the person that Jesus would be least interested in talking to from one of the worst places he could think of. And he's careful to lay it out. Matthew says, she's a woman, she is a Canaanite, a pagan Gentile, not a Jew, complicated dynamic. She is ritually impure and therefore not to be dealt with, lest Jesus make himself impure in the process. And she's from a place that's problematic for Jesus. She's from a wealthy city that buys its grain from the place where Jesus grew up. In times of famine, her people have enough, but Jesus' people don't. So, no great love for folks from the city of Tyre. Thus he utters the line, "It is not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs," which is not only a summation of this larger dynamic between his people and hers, but it also contains a blatant common slur when he calls her a dog. Dogs weren't pets in Jesus' day. They were pests and scavengers. He calls her a little dog, and I don't think he means a cute puppy. You hear a lot that first impressions matter, but it's hard to control how that happens. That initial glance, it's always so loaded, isn't it? All those judgments come spilling out, and they're hard to get past once they've been picked up on. The polite way of saying it is that the brain is organizing itself into piles of understanding, but really we know our hearts are convicting themselves as we play old programs. Stereotyping, we all do that. We see, and depending on our state of mind, we do one of 3 things. We desire, we imitate, or we judge. Those judgments, when they come, are swift and harsh. Not my demographic, not my race, not within my socioeconomic class, not my generation, not within my definition of conventionally attractive, weird hair, strange clothes, obviously too liberal, clearly too conservative, toxically masculine, wimpy, snowflake, macho baloney, way too much money, not enough money, looks poor, car too boring, car too old, car way too expensive, drives a Prius, drives a Cybertruck, has weird decals. See where I'm going with this? Too many bumper stickers, stereo too loud, listening to NPR, blasting country, blasting rock, has weird tattoos, has too many tattoos, does not have enough tattoos. Jesus fish, stick family, crosses, flags, smiley faces. Doesn't look familiar. Probably not from around here. Different county on the plate. Out-of-state plates. Taped on turn signal, busted antenna, dented fender, loud engine, smoky exhaust. And all in about 10 seconds, just waiting for a green light. These are powerful impulses. They are hardwired into our need for survival. But friends, they're keeping us from each other. Because all that judgment is the first step to making scapegoats. The stoplight, the grocery store, the job, the DMV, the waiting room, even in church. Any place people must be confronted by the presence of strangers, the good Lord help us, our brains are doing this all the time. But what if the next stranger that you came across wasn't automatically categorized as dangerous or suspicious, or not outside of you, or not a heretic to you? Would you be willing to trade your knee-jerk first impression for a second one? Would you be willing to put on the mind of Christ? And what if, when you did, what if what you saw was just another person trying to get along, same as you, with the basic cares and needs that we all have? Could you step out of that first boundary and move that mental marker? Could you be persuaded to look past the superficial and extend grace to another? I don't believe Jesus to be imperious or above the fray in this exchange. Some have suggested that the woman changes his mind, while others take him to be a little more playful with her than maybe comes across on an initial read. I'm not sure where I stand on that. What I do know is that Jesus is very much involved with life as he finds it. And I believe in this instance, he proves persuadable. Persuadable because of the opportunity to offer grace to the people he always had heard were enemies. As for us, when we pledge ourselves to Jesus, we say that we will seek to follow him in his way. We say that his way is the way that leads to life. We acclaim him as the only Son of the Father, who is the kingdom and the power and the glory. So, if we want to grow into spiritually mature and spiritually accountable followers of Jesus, this is actually how we have to do it. Amen.